Howdy folks, and welcome back to Fate Extra. Today, most likely, marks the finale of our series. Birthday chimes announce the closing curtain. Whose awakening was it? Evening. After winning the fight, I return to the now lifeless school. Almost all the people are gone. I'm the only master, and the last living human in this tournament, if human is the right word. Even all the NPCs that used to be here are now gone. There's no more use for them. Holy Grail War ends here. Only the master and servant who won the Holy Grail remain, plus one system anomaly. In any case, the path to the Holy Grail will open for the winner. Where could it be? While thinking about how annoying looking for it would be. Congratulations, you have crushed the dreams of all the other Magi. That is to say, you have won. The Holy Grail War ends here. A voice echoes through the speakers. It's a voice I've heard before. It was the voice I heard when I met my servant at the very end of the preliminaries. Oh, I'm sorry, then it's a feminine voice, then it's not Kodomine. It's the guide created by the Holy Grail War system. It must be based on a real person, too. The path to the Holy Grail is open to you, Victor. Pass through the door to the battlefield once more. I still don't have any answers. Maybe they will come once I get to the Holy Grail. So there are a couple things we can do before going to the Holy Grail. First, we'll check on Saber. The time has finally come to leave the Seraph and head to the core of the moon cell. I shall miss the place, even this room, but it can't be helped. Life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I recommend you make your final goodbyes now. Yeah, I'm not fully sure, but this will probably be a pretty long episode. I guess I'll see if there's anything in the library. They directly said that there are no NPCs, so I'm going to be nice, and also since I don't want it to be too long and I won't purposefully look for them. But okay, we have Rin here blocking the doorway to the battlefield. Actually, let me see if I can just... Well, actually... Nah, where? Since I already know what's going on, I'll talk to Kodomine first, since Rin is the way to progress the story here. And Kodomine is a little bit extra stuff. Haha, extra. Aren't you the eager student, even though you no longer have need of a teacher? Or are you that fond of me? No, I'm not. In fact, I'm pretty done with this bitter priest. But like it or not, he has always been instrumental to my training and advancement. Even though he's nothing more than an AI, I wanted to say goodbye. You're a good student. Very well, goodbye. Let me offer some final advice. It is not brief. The Holy Grail won't be going anywhere. Advice? What advice could the father have now that the fighting is over? This isn't to guide you through a fight, but to enlighten you about what you will receive shortly. It may be fairly late in the game to ask this, but what do you know of the Holy Grail? I already know the basics to it. It is a supercomputer within the moon meant to observe, also known as the Moon Cell Automaton. It is an archive that has recorded the history of Earth, or rather mankind, since antiquity, and Magi fought to the death to determine ownership of it. That's good for starters. Still, you need to know a few more details. As the last master, you ought to know. That crystal is the moon cell. Only in the past century has it become called the Holy Grail. An all-purpose wishing machine. Who decided the moon cell would only observe, I wonder? Forcing other functions upon what is primarily an observation device is generally impossible there. But the all-seeing eye is lacking the rest of its head. Though all-seeing, the moon cell is not a god. It obeys the laws of physics like everything else. Such as the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Phenomena that are not observed do not exist. By the same token, all things that are seen must be seen. Even things that are not generally considered to exist. The moon cell is a very complete database that records many ifs as well. With such operational power, the moon cell can both elucidate the past and provide foresight. What you are heading towards is knowledge of the future, a place where every human wish and desire exists, a place to spy upon the future, on that terrible knowledge, much like what Laplace envisioned. The moon has no will of its own. Intelligence is a distortion of pure observation, after all. But if someone with a will could harness the moon cell, they would see all of their wishes granted. The validity of one's motives, or even the very presence of motive, is inconsequential. All that matters is that the winner of the Holy Grail War is strong. Just strength. An amoral priest like Kodamene would reduce human struggle to that. Does the moon cell, Holy Grail, desire strength? Or is that the conclusion reached by whoever created this priest? That is all. Did it help? What all of you have been crawling over is nothing more than the moon cell's surface. Go forth, reigning master. Deep in the moon, the ring of fire awaits your answer. I will wait in front of the arena. If you find it hard to leave the moon cell, come find me. In hell, money conquers all. Welcome to the Sukumihara Academy Commissary. But yeah, so just to be clear, this is the arena, and the janitorial closet that Rin's standing in front of is the battlefield. And we were told to go to the battlefield, so yeah, this is side stuff. The Holy Grail War has ended, and all that remains is to proceed to where the Holy Grail lies. Upon our arrival, something's taken place that we do not understand. There is no reason for the system NPC to know anything more, but with our preparation we should be fine. The shop and church will be usable. Go if you feel the need. If you want more trading, you can feel free to use the arena, as it has been reopened. You no longer have to observe the 6-day prep period. Come and go as you please. So, you will go to the arena? I'll go. Very well. If that's the case, I wish you well. Infinite Chimeric Lunar Sea, first floor. Seraph is imprisoned within the Holy Grail, the great observer of the imaginary sea. At last, the purpose of the moon cell is fulfilled. Arena level 36. Let's check. Yeah, we are 38, and yeah, I'm thinking that I do want to try and get that last level, so we got a bunch of stuff going on here. Claustrophobia. So yeah, there are some 7th round enemies here to get experience from. I think they're of higher level though, I'm not fully sure. I have to assume so. And then over here is the exit. And I guess I'll tell you guys that there is a extra side boss in New Game Plus only. if you do certain stuff, then you can fight an extra boss in this arena here. Oh, let's go after this Nephilim. And yeah, since we can leave freely, we can use as much MP as we want to. And if this guy doesn't give me the full experience that I need, then yeah, I'll cut, and then we'll be back in a minute. Then we can go to church. I probably should have gone for the other one. I'm blanking out the name of it, but the stronger skill. Thunderous Claws. Yeah, let's go Thunderous. Yeah, just having you guys around for a couple battles, so that you know what's going on here. Oh, and that's it. Level up. Level 39. If we got a level every single day of the 6-day prep periods for all 7 weeks, then that would be 42 levels, which plus our starting level of 1 would be level 43. But we're at 39. HP 2624, MP 337, skill points 3. And that's probably the last time this playthrough that you guys will see the level up menu. I assume so, unless something happens, I don't know. I don't think there would be anything left to give us that much experience for a full level. Just these guys, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I believe we're above the recommended level, so we can freely go and do stuff. Sakura? Oh yay! Congratulations, Hakuna! It made me very happy that you kept coming to see me throughout the Holy Grail War, even if I didn't have much of a presence in the game. But if after all the moons are wishing for me, it would be silly to complain. Alright, my parting gift to you will be a lunch. Huh? Please don't make it at the face. I haven't put anything strange in it. Just a spicy meatball. Alright then, I wish you the best of luck. Sakura's Supreme Lunch. Oh, and yeah, those 2 Nephilims in there. Since there's 2 of them, you can get a solid like 4,000 experience each time. Huh. Am I done now? Don't worry, Sakura, we'll get to see you again in the next game. But let's see here. Sakura's Supreme Lunch. Totally heals servant HP, heals status effect. The legendary version of Sakura's lunch recipe. It is seen as God's gift to the culinary arts. So, yes. It is basically an item version of our recover spell. Your fight's over, I see. It's supposed to be an exchange of info. Are you the perceptive one? Wanna do an observation? Yes. Now we can finally have the satisfaction of hitting A+ in defense. And then I guess to even it all out, we'll put 1 more in defense and 1 into strength. Have 130 each. Good, good. And then I believe the ranks afterwards are A++, A+++, and then EX. Endurance ranking has increased. Good, I feel much stronger. I dare say our connection has now progressed to a whole new level. What now? You're not alteration? No. With Saber's stat growths, it's a bit hard to actually reach EX rank, I'm pretty sure, unless you like dump everything into strength, and even then it's hard. But with some of the other two servants, it's a bit easier, I'm pretty sure. Well, let's go. We've come this far. Let's see it through to the end. She seems to see no problem with coming with me. I'm not going to object. She's good to have along. Open the last door. The entrance to the battlegrounds is still the same dreary elevator. This same elevator travels to the arena, but the display indicates a much greater depth. Once I'm inside, the doors close heavily and the rectangular box begins to move. Come to think of it, each one of our battles has been quite valuable. Though we've only faced 7 foes, each battle was unique in its own way, and though our opponents were all heroes taken from human history. With me as your companion, they obviously never stood a chance. Thinking about how inexperienced you were before brings a smile to my face. That innocent little chick has grown considerably since then. In the past, I only cared about myself and gave little thought to others. In my attempts to lead, I made many mistakes and destroyed many lives. But now I am truly content. I am no longer ashamed to be your servant. You are a remarkable master. There is still one thing that I find perplexing. Your lack of desire. You claim to have no wish for the Holy Grail. I think that's a grave mistake. Regardless of whether your wish has merit, man is defined by his desires. You do well to follow my example. Even now I enjoy life to its fullest. Also, I get a great deal of pleasure from looking upon your smiling face. That is how much I've enjoyed the battles we have shared. For me, who has never been loved, our time together has been precious. It is truly wonderful to be foremost in the thoughts of another. You, who mean the world to me, let's go. May you defeat all who oppose you. For that reason, that I will temper you by subjecting you to endless torture. Where you going? Just oh wait, we can't. Okay, yeah, we are full on everything. This is like the beginning of the game. Like when we went to the tutorial arena. I like how the game uses your lack of an up-down camera to be able to make the stairs that much better. And cooler, I'd say. It's an incredibly vast room. Actually, the space so cavernous could hardly be called a room. It is also strangely barren, save for the alien object that dominates the center of the space. It resembles a giant floating eye. Though it doesn't seem threatening, it is still somewhat disconcerting. The artifact of an alien civilization, the reason for its creation is beyond human comprehension. The core of the moon cell and the base of the seraph, the Holy Grail of the seven heavens, responsible for creating the seven seas. And in the space where the Holy Grail is enshrined, I can feel a sense of discord and dissonance. In front of the Holy Grail is a jumble of skewed stone pillars, which only adds to the tumultuous atmosphere. On top of that pile of stones sits the lone figure of a man. He looks to be in his late 20s at most. His expression is blank enough to be totally unmemorable, but as an NPC, he doesn't need to make an
Yeah, 待っていたよ。
Hey Hakuno, I've been waiting for you. Congratulations, by the way. You have won the Holy Grail War. I'd love to have a celebration in your honor, but unfortunately this place doesn't allow for that sort of thing. While it might not be worth what you had to do to survive this far, you'll have to make do with my flaws. But allow me to say this, I approve, praise, and am proud of you more than I have been of anyone else. Throughout the numerous repetitions of the Holy Grail War, you are, by far, the most extraordinary master. For those who have a keen ear, you might hear his voice acting and notice that he is the voice actor for the narration at the beginning of each chapter. The one who says all those fancy poetry lines and stuff. While he seems friendly, there is something more dangerous about him than any of my other opponents. It's a feeling of nothingness. There is something very strange about the man in front of me. There is someone else here. That man has a servant with him. At the same time he mentions his servant, I can feel Rin tense up as she shoots a glare in his direction. Watch out, Hakuno. This guy isn't an NPC. He's a master. But why would a master be here? The war is over and the only master left standing should be you. Well, to be absolutely accurate, I could just as easily say that you're a master who shouldn't be here too. How could a master who was defeated still be alive and present in this place? I must look into this later. Well, that's an issue for another day. At least one rule will be still enforced. Only one master may leave. And unfortunately, you are the one who will disappear. I advise you to enjoy what little time you have left. Now that's settled. I'm pretty sure the question on your mind is, what are you, right? A pertinent question worthy of an answer. Of course, I am both an NPC and a master. To be more accurate, I should say, I was. Was? You mean you became a master after being an NPC? That's... She briefly glances my way, her eyes wide with shock. I suppose more thorough explanation is necessary. The story is kind of long, but please bear with me. First, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Twice H. Peaceman, but please just call me Twice. Twice? I thought you being a cyber ghost was just an urban legend, but I think it's actually true. Everything I've learned about you paints you as a person who hated war and was dedicated to saving lives. This massacre, you of all people should detest this war, but considering how you are now, it's... So that's how history sees me, that I detested war. That part is definitely true. I hate war and will not tolerate its existence in any form. Not even the Harways are exempt from this fact. However, that truth only scratches the surface of my beliefs. Much like the moon cell, it seems that a single, well-known function has erroneously defined my true ideals. It began when I was a student and obsessed with the history of humanity. I will never forget the many shocking realizations I received during the course of my studies. The betrayals that make up history, combined with severe shell shock, gave him an abnormal hatred of war. Allow me to clarify. By him, I mean Twice Spaceman, and he was, in fact, incredibly ill. When he saw any image depicting war, he was overcome with overwhelming panic attacks. It was almost as if he would get severe heart palpitations and his blood pressure would skyrocket. From that day, he, meaning me, was consumed with an unease that became almost painful in its intensity. Even after becoming a scientist, he still risked death to save others because of that unbearable pain. That's the whole of it. What drove him during his time in the mortal coil was not a sense of righteousness. What drove me was one simple question. Why was I the only one who seemed to hate war? As I said, Twice was ill. There was no reason for him to risk his life so foolishly on the battlefield. Why did I involve myself in war? Was it to understand it better, especially considering the effect war had on me? Even while struggling with those questions, my mortal self still rationally kept going into battle. And, in the year 1999, a horrible neurological disease broke out in a city located in the Far East. Based on the available evidence, the cause of the outbreak was a biological weapon created by terrorists. Twice was called to the city to treat the victims of the attack when he was caught in a major attack himself. According to the records made available to the public, the death toll was set at 5,000 people. The moon self was the real count at 8,200. As you can see, the government underreported the number it had. I can see the exhaustion in his eyes. He seems to think his story is no more than an amusing anecdote. Although it's hard to tell if he's amused by the government's possible cunning or total incompetence. Anyway, that's when the person I am patterned after, died. Twice ended up one of those 8,200. Something strange. I remember seeing the place where he died, as if I too was one of those many victims. I can recall the sight of buildings set aflame, but when I was Twice, it was a scene I had experienced before. It was then that the mortal Twice, the person I was, recaptured the repressed memories of his childhood. In the 1970s, there was a clash of ethnic groups, arranged by major powers as a war by proxy. Twice was orphaned in the conflict. The place I remembered was hell. Everything around me was collapsing. Everything fell without any sense of morality and without any acknowledgement of the value of life. And there lies its brilliance. The young Twice must have concluded that life itself was truly a miracle. All that remained of that epiphany I've already told you. Anyway, Twice was adopted and became a doctor. And though I tried to forget the past, that one fundamental truth was burned forever into my soul. Twice despised war more, and it became his intent to kill war itself. I got involved in war in order to end it. However, at the core of my very being wasn't a denial of the meaning of war. It wasn't that at all. Twice had seen many battlefields, the never-ending hell, the horrific evil perpetuated by humanity. A group of soldiers made to fight against an army many times their size that was far more experienced and supplied. Forced to flee from guerrillas, a girl of 5 travels on foot through a jungle that few could hope to survive. Innocent victims of violence who rebuilt their village and their lives without help from anyone. I find that odd. Even though I hated war, I saw a great deal of strength emerge from the conflicts I witnessed. Now that I think on it, the mortal me was the same. All of Twice's great works were born of war. The many revelations, the uncounted number of rescues, none would have happened without the hell that is war. All the mortal me really did was bring back a number of things from the depths of hell. And in the end, I was a victim of a terrorist attack. But as I was dying, it all came back to me. Time for a water break. So many words. I saw the burned fields of my home and recalled the tenacity that helped me go on, even as everyone else died. Yes, 3 seconds before my heart stopped, I finally received an answer to my question. It was never denial. What drove that twice repeatedly into hell was because I, who eventually fell victim to violence, could no longer consider war the ultimate folly of mankind. Nothing can be hidden from the moon cell, and it records all it observes, including my final thoughts. As time went on, I was reborn as an NPC based on the record of my mortal life, just like any other NPC here. They may appear human, but are nothing more than puppets playing assigned roles. I was the same, however. You managed to gain self-awareness. But how? And why? Maybe interacting with so many masters combined with my skills as a spirit hacker pushed me into consciousness. More likely it was just an anomaly born from a single near impossibility. How it happened, I cannot say. However, once I gained true consciousness, the only thing I could do was act as twice Peaceman would. The dream that I saw as I died, the ideal that existed only in my mind, I now exist only to make it a reality. So what was the dream that the mortal twice saw as he died? Endless war, of course. To see mankind engage in a great war of mutual extinction. He says this last statement in a matter-of-fact tone. There's no hint of insanity visible in his eyes. Naturally, and with obvious sincerity, he can somehow utter such a statement of absolute madness. The future has been corrupted. That is the conclusion I've come to after studying the moon cell's records. Anyone with a brain can see that the world is doomed. Humankind has long since passed its adolescent stage. Man was still maturing in the 1900s. A balance was struck between penury and prosperity, but it didn't last. The period of immaturity ended, but the golden age that should have followed never occurred. You do realize this, right? What has happened to the planet and its people should never have come to be. The spirit of mankind is stagnated, just as the world has. The future is rotting away like overripe fruit. When that fruit should be at its best, it has fallen to the ground. That's not the way history should be. That is how Rin and Leo described the world. A place of peace, stupefying stagnation, and entropy. But, is war really the answer? Because it is the most efficient way for mankind to progress, stability and stasis only act to preserve a species. If the objective of modern man is merely survival, then there is no reason for them to exist. In my previous life, a great many lives and resources were consumed for the sake of convenience. Why? What was the need for such prosperity? Prosperity is just an illusion and exists only for its own sake. I expect that you agree with me. Humans are capricious creatures that must feed on dreams to evolve. The preliminaries illustrate this truth. In an artificial peace, ignorant aggressors revel in idleness. Humans can only mature after breaking free from their idleness. That seems to be the case for you. And now, ideologies are based on the detritus of an ignoble and forgotten past. That loss can't be overcome. I cannot allow such ideas to become the foundation of the next epoch of human civilization. Don't you agree? If the future isn't worth the suffering of the past, that would make man mere murderers. For the humans who lived in the distant past, the future that man is now planning cannot be accepted. The future that will be is a mistake. Humanity has not spent countless lives for the society that is to come. But we cannot reverse time. Since going back is impossible, there is no choice but to move forward. With that in mind, we will recreate the wars of the past and revise the history of the last 100 years. By having everyone fight in a war of survival, mankind's consciousness will be forced onto the correct path. My wish has become a firm conviction. As the winner of the Holy Grail War, your existence is proof of that. Come again. Hold up a second. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Rin looks at me with flames in her eyes as if demanding an explanation, but I'm just as in the dark as she is. Originally, the Holy Grail War was a way for the moon cell to gather data. It didn't even have a name at first. The moon cell only wanted the best data samples. Having a war of survival was a good way to separate the chaff. However, up until now, the Magi who came here made excuses for their actions, but still killed and fled. Truly an atrocity, wouldn't you say? Until I won, this world was buried under a mountain of corpses. After all, being an NPC, I get the luxury of continuing on even if I die. I watched their fights as an NPC, and when I became conscious, I fought battles of my own, weak though I was. After several dozen fights, I finally reached this elevated seat. After that, my story becomes simpler. Manipulating the rules of this place, I created the Holy Grail War. So yeah, I guess in other terms, he has New Game Plus. So every time he died, he would get to continue, but he would just get stronger each time until he... A battle of survival from which only a single person may emerge victorious. I remade this world into a place where the limits of human potential can be pushed beyond one's imagination. And then you appeared, the weakest master in the tournament. You managed to defeat the king of the world. You were totally unsuited for this ordeal in the beginning, just as I was. As a nameless figure drawn from masses, you have become the one in whose hands rests the fate of the world. Your soul has been tempered by crisis and conflict. Your new strength is a testament to the potential of man. When mankind reaches the heights you have, they will move forward, clearing a path for those yet to come. Now, it's time for you to claim the Grail for your own. You've earned the right to show the world the true path. Shout out so that all can hear you say that war is necessary, that humanity can and must evolve quickly. Just input this one little phrase into the moon cell, don't stop. After that, you can do whatever you wish. Whether you become a king or a god is up to you. You have my blessing as your choice will bring endless war. The wounds suffered by humanity after losing countless lives and endless conflicts run deep. And if the only reward for such suffering is stagnation, then humanity deserves to be cast into a new void. Some sacrifices cannot go unheeded. Mankind must be inflicted with wounds that they will never forget. I actually understand where you're coming from. As I remain paralyzed by doubt, Rin begins to speak, her apparent calm belied by the heat in her eyes. Your story was interesting, but it left one question unanswered. It's about you winning the war in the past. You never once mentioned making a wish on the Holy Grail. Why? Why have him make your wish for you? An excellent question. The answer is that I can't. If I touched the Holy Grail, my wish would be rejected. According to the moon cell, my existence is considered nothing more than an irregular data stream. I can fool the low-level processes, but if I access the core, I'd be seen as an NPC and immediately deleted. My victories would mean nothing. I need a legitimate master, someone who can make my wish a reality. Anomalous data would be deleted. What emotion did her words express? Her mumbling sounded very much like a dejected sigh. The girl beside me shuts her eyes for a moment and then directs her gaze at twice, as if to deny the obvious. That's why I've stopped here. I've been waiting for years at the gate to the core, awaiting one I deem worthy. Upon reflection, I wasted a great deal of time. I was able to plant the seeds of war on Earth from here by manipulating and manufacturing information. But it was a case of too little too late. Also, my methods were unreliable and on too small a scale. Instances of terrorism and violence have skyrocketed recently, so you're the cause of it all. With full access to the moon cell's records and my ability to define the future, I can bring about Armageddon. Of course, I don't intend for everyone to die. I simply wish to instigate a war that anyone can survive. can see it through the gate. There lies the moon's core, an object made from the purest photonic crystal. I'll be right back in just a second. Okay. Alright, pull the guards. You can see it through the gate. There lies the moon's core, an object made from the purest photonic crystal. The results of the simulations of Earth's future run by the moon cell are stored as light within the core. The one who reaches the core has the right to choose the course of the future from infinite possibilities. I'm sure you understand now. Whoever claims the moon cell can manipulate reality as they see fit. This object, which envisions an infinite number of possible futures, can reshape the fabric of reality. If what he says is true, then the Holy Grail could accurately be considered the mind and will of God. Nothing is impossible. It is truly an object of unimaginable power with infinite possibilities. Yes, you do understand. It has many other names. The Photonic Abyss, Angelica Cage, take your pick. You have earned the right to claim it as your own. Now, please proceed. Unleash the perfect storm upon the world, to undo the lie of stability, rewrite history as I have said. Twice looks in my direction, an expression of earnest confidence reflected on his face. Almost as if he is sure that I share his belief that war is the answer. This man, while despising war and violence, could not ignore the immediate results that war brings. This supposed comrade, who gained strength through fighting much like I did, clears a path for me. However, I know that war isn't the answer. Even if war is a necessary element in the advancement of humanity, I still can't support its continuation. My reasoning is painfully simplistic. Lives will be lost in war. That's my only reason. I understand the concept of necessary evils, but I refuse to accept the reason for their existence. The line of opponents that parade through my mind are dead and gone, and will never return. I have experienced the pain of loss throughout this ordeal. That alone will always make me oppose war. Twisting the moon cell's filtering process into the Holy Grail was his way of starting a war on Earth. And as warped as his ideals are, my own aren't really any better. Even so, I can't accept his view of war. Your conclusion is overly sentimental, don't you think? I expected that, but still, give it a bit more thought. Servant, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the matter. Do you think I'm evil and should be eradicated? Don't be ridiculous. Good and evil, right and wrong, none of these have any meaning. Those of any substance always move forward, even as they suffer the consequences of their mistakes. Spilling the blood of others even as they shed their own, they prove their worth through their deeds. That is the way humanity has always been and will always be. It is utter stupidity to think that beauty only comes from a delusional sense of righteousness. Saber speaks it twice in her normal, indifferent, slightly superior tone, but a slight edge starts creeping in. Good and evil are one and the same. It just depends on which side you stand. Your ideals mean nothing to me. But I do have one question I wish to ask of you. You claim to have been here for a long time. There must have been others who have come before us. What happened to all of the previous winners? Good question. Now that I think about it, there should be some sign of those who came before me. They were incapable of seeing my point of view. More accurately, they didn't see the value of my dream. Weiss looked meaningfully at the pillars in the surrounding area. His answer couldn't be any clearer. The pillars gathered together are their gravestones.
そうか。
I see. You reward the victors not with the garland, but the poisoned chalice. That fact alone is enough to make you an enemy of mine. Saber draws her sword. Like her, I can't excuse his actions, even if it means becoming another stone pillar. I don't understand. Unlike any other human, you are the embodiment of everything I believe in. That might seem to be the case, but even if we walk the same path, our feelings may be completely opposite. I must have died in the same incident that took twice. However, I learned different lessons in my death. Sadly for you, you cannot escape. Only a single master may leave the moon cell once they've made it here. Once the participants have been reduced to one, permission is granted to leave the Seraph. This is one thing I cannot change. The moon cell has made this rule a fundamental requirement for entry. In other words, there's still you and me. As long as both of us exist, neither can escape this place. So there is no path open to you but the one that leads to the Holy Grail. And given your capricious nature, I can't relax yet. There's no guarantee your potential will shine through. The world has reached its limit as well. Soon it will be too late to overcome the stagnation of man. However, Twice Peaceman is wrong. If the moon cell automatically erased irregular data, I cannot go inside. Just like Twice, if I pass through that gate, I will be eliminated. And if Twice somehow wins, he will gain nothing. In the end, no one will win this fight. But even knowing that, I'm not big on brainwashing as it can end in self-destruction, but your spirit might survive the process. It doesn't matter to me if you resist. If you want your wish to come true, you'll have to defeat me anyway. And such is destiny. At the end of things, this is the conclusion we arrive at. Now then, it's time to bring this chapter in the Holy Grail War to a close. To the victor goes the spoils. That is the way of humanity, something that will never change. It is by fighting for one's life that a person's spirit will grow and become stronger. I may well be a malevolent force in regards to man, but life is an endless cycle that will never end. I have been bestowed this power not only to protect one person, but to preserve the whole. Look upon my works in despair, servant, for here comes my salvation, straight from the moon cell's records. Come, legendary soul of salvation, the answer to all, the sole entity to escape the agony of existence. If it is for the purpose of creating the path mankind will follow to Dharmata and thus to enlightenment, then I will come forth to grant salvation to all things and guide them with the might of my Vajra. Another calamity arises. This legendary soul may be too much for one such as I who knows only anguish. What am I saying? I have you by my side. Now that I have someone to share my pain with, I know that we shall both blossom. As long as you're with me, there is no servant more powerful than I, and enlightenment will not shield him. Praetor, the time has come for you to show that you are the one who is capable of defeating this person. You are not one to devote yourself wholly to violence and, like the man before us, incomplete when alone. While some may consider your need to reach out to others a weakness, I consider it your greatest strength. Let us begin. It is only fitting that, in this final battle, you and I vanquish our enemy together. The words of my servant served to encourage me. And in the end, Twist was right about one thing. There are some things that conflict can help to grow. And the most important to me is the bond that now exists between me and my servant. Regardless of the strength of the enemy or the consequences failure will have on the future, I won't back down. I will face this one last battle with the one who has been with me from the beginning of I will face this one last battle with the one who has been with me from the beginning by my side. Savior. Saber versus Savior. Live or die by the sword. Okay, we'll set up the first setting. Onto Kronos. MP heal. Attack, attack, defend, defend, attack. Because that's how Kronos works. We gotta actually do this correctly. Madhyama Pratipad. So yeah. I don't remember if they ever directly state it, but I'm pretty sure this guy is Buddha. Oh, and it looks like he buffed his attack so that he heals from his attacks. Same as how we have Font of the Healer where we heal from using Break. But this is a good one since... let's see. So we only have to deal with 2 invisibles here. And we can get a briefer. You know what? Yeah, I'm a Petals. Then we defend, attack, attack. And yeah, we'll start using the pure ethers. I'll try to be reasonable with them, but then we'll Petals again and defend. Sunyata. Oh, is this an attack skill? If it is, that's for me. Well. At least we get the triple on him. Oh, and we got the pure ether, so that's good. If I remember that skill of his that he just used. Oh. One has lit. That skill, I think, counters your attack skills. I think that's how it works. Not fully sure. I guess I'll just block and hope for the best on that. Next turn is our Phantasm. I guess maybe we'll use Healer. Then we'll defend. And MP heal. Actually, we defend. Then we will Petals, Break, MP heal. Break again, I guess. We'll most likely be using an elixir next turn. I'm not fully sure though. Oh, he's buffing his guard. Okay, yeah, his thing failed. So yeah, I believe he counters when you use a skill on that thing. And EMP heal, so we're good. And then we're even on that last one. Phantasm time. Actually, we might save the Phantasm for next turn and be fancy with it. Oh, but it looks like he's gonna... code cast. Okay, so if I do this, then that leaves me with 100. If I do this, that leaves me with 193. And if I do this, and then I recover at the end. Actually, no, if I Ether Crystal at the end. And we'll see what happens. We will get a triple here. Since we can only heal in once per turn, that means we can also only restore MP once per turn. So we gotta be careful with it. Also, good G's. Oh, Seal Skill. I hope that's literal. The second light. Mwahaha. Okay, so we're gonna recover, and I guess we will attack here. And then... because, yeah, recover does help with Seal Skill. Then we Phantasm, Blossom of the Court, attack, Blossom of the Court, attack. Actually, what if we... yeah, I'll just do it like this. Okay, I just gotta make sure I'm actually keeping track of what's what. And then next turn, we can probably do something with our MP and go all out on him. Okay, yeah, he's buffing his break. Oh, well, here he's countering us. Sucks to be us, I guess. Oh wait, that's countering our normal Phantasm, so we don't get to do... oh, wait. No, it's not? Wait, maybe he both countered, but also, since it's a noble Phantasm, it still goes off? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. But he took 2,800 damage, and we still get our Phantasm activated. And we still get to hit him. Laus Saint Claudius. Oh yeah, and if I remember... so the Phantasm itself does break through guards, but I don't know if that also lasts the entire time we have it active, or what. Well, what if we do this, and then we do this, and then at the end we recover? What if we did that? Actually, instead of... no, we do want to use recover, since he's probably gonna seal us again. Oh, and he stunned us, that's sad. Okay, and at least his seal skill doesn't damage us. And let's see, I'm just hoping to finish it off with a normal attack. Extra. An alternate reality. Buddha has fallen. I can hear the sounds of battle, and though I've been defeated many times, it's still painful all the same. But I have no regrets. Just as life is an endless cycle, or two will endure. You are proof of that. Sorry, I gotta pause real quick. Okay. Just had to check a thing. I have no regrets. Just as life is an endless cycle, war too will endure. You are proof of that. Twice, who even now still holds tightly to his beliefs, slowly begins to fade away like all of the others. But whether he's following his own rules or those of the moon cell, I cannot say for sure. Now go and touch the Holy Grail. You will come to understand many things once you do. Wantonly consuming lives, thriving without a purpose, our future blossoms like a flower by the roadside. Whether that turns out to be right or wrong, I would like for you to see and judge with your own eyes. If we were both truly righteous or not. And in an instant, I thought I saw something that was truly him, but it might have been just an illusion. Without any time to contemplate what was happening, Twice Peaceman passes into oblivion. His servant, too, will soon join him in the void. Without exception, all life will perish. All living things are trapped in a cycle of suffering and death. The one who sought enlightenment through strength and perseverance still has an untainted soul. But there is more than one path. Just as good and evil have value, the beauty of the world will endure. King of blood-drenched battle, in Nirvana, let us witness the end of the world, for there lies your salvation. With an expression much like his master's, the servant fades away like a flower losing its petals. The only person to have escaped the cycle of suffering, seen by some as a savior of the spirit of humanity. I see now, he did not support Twice's ideals. Instead, he was showing compassion for the soul of the human known as Twice Peaceman. Alright then, what shall we do now? Rin asks her question in a brittle yet cheerful tone, trying to maintain her aloof attitude. And before you say anything, don't waste your time worrying about me. The moment I lost Lancer, no, the second I entered the Holy Grail War, I was prepared to... I try to express my concern, but she only silently points to the gate in the middle of the room. Her silence speaks volumes. As Twice said earlier, the moment that any anomalous data is detected in that dimension, it will be deleted. She refrains from speaking as she is all too aware of the consequences to come. However, even if I am to be deleted, there should still be a small window of opportunity. Time enough to sneak in a modest wish. To extinguish the remaining fires of war that Twice had set ablaze. To put an end to the senseless bloodshed of the Holy Grail War once and for all. The Mooncell Automaton, the very mind of God, I will seal it away so that no one will ever be able to access it again. And also to return her, the last true survivor, safely to her mortal existence. A number of wishes race through my mind, but I won't have the time to ask for them all. I can only ask for the most important of my desires. But any wish I make will be influenced by the experience I gained from fighting in this war. I make my way to the Holy Grail, the object that is both bane and boon to the one fortunate enough to survive. My regret at not being the winning master has never been stronger than it is now. No matter how much I want to force the issue, since I am not the victor, I cannot go near the Holy Grail. With one last sigh, she retreats into silence. I silently thank her for not making an already painful parting worse than it already is, and continue making my way to the gate. And then I reach out to touch the Holy Grail, the very core of the moon cell. Well, I mean, I really hate what I'm about to say. It sounds like I'm making excuses for myself. But things could have ended worse. I probably would have lost it twice, not due to lack of skill, but of heart. That's why I'm glad you're the one who made it to the end. I want you to know I truly mean that. Before me stands the Holy Grail. I slowly extend my hand and place it on the core of the moon cell. The instant I make contact with it, I am drawn inside the Holy Grail. To be more accurate, I am absorbed into it like water being absorbed by a sponge. In the short time before I am erased from existence, my consciousness is immersed into the moon cell. I can see everything that exists within it, every piece of information, every observation, every conclusion. The sheer volume of information and ideas stored in the moon cell forms an intricate collage that no human could decipher, though I sense a pattern. In fact, I cannot say that Twice's interpretation of human history as recorded by the moon cell was wrong. For war has always brought change, but in this day and age, humanity has mistaken stagnation for peace. And throughout it all, the moon cell continues to silently record what it sees without ever taking action. After endlessly analyzing the data it records, it files away its conclusions and resumes its role of voyeur. It is there on Earth that the whole of human existence is contained. Whatever triumphs and tragedies befall mankind in their world, the moon cell continues to silently observe and record. It is that strength, that force of existence, that Twice failed to see and understand. But now is not the time to become emotional. I have to tell the Holy Grail what my wish is. Input complete. I was able to enter my wish without a single mistake, I think. Now, all there is for me to do is wait for the end of my tenuous existence to come. However, oddly, the time of my death doesn't seem to be coming anytime soon. Being one with the moon cell, I share its unique view of time where infinity can be contained in a single second. So even the briefest moment seems somewhat more drawn out than normal. But even that, Wait a moment. This cannot be right. Perhaps that man Twice was mistaken? I hear my servant muttering to my ear. They aren't there in person, but as a part of the Holy Grail. My guess is that my servant had somehow slipped and seen into the Holy Grail the same time I entered. Don't act as if you just noticed me. It is your duty to be aware of my presence at all times, after all. However, something doesn't feel right. With the war over, there is no reason for her to follow me here. This is your final duty as a master, correct? Then it is only natural that I am present at this time. Especially since it seems as if this is a time when you are in need of my strength. So that's what she's doing. With the additional presence, the time the moon cell needs to finish the elimination process is increased. As is her way, she has come to aid her worthless master one final time. However, delay this long can't be the result of my servant's presence. Something else must be going on. Since I'm connected to the moon cell, it shouldn't be too difficult to find out what's going on. In what seems to be only a heartbeat, the whole of my consciousness arrives as one long data file. This Appears to be you. What does cryogenic storage mean? The info in this data file concerns a patient with a fatal brain disease that affects memory retention, and the only doctor familiar with the surgical procedure used to treat the disease died in a terrorist attack. Until another surgeon could replicate the procedure, the patient was put into cryogenic storage. If there is a living human that shares my exact identity, then it may be more than random bits of data. That must be the reason why I'm still around. The moon cell needs more time to analyze this new information. But I'm sure that guy didn't come here as a Magus. I'm just a copy of a person trapped in the endless stream. Whatever the case, my fate is almost assured. I'm sure that my time here is fast coming to an end. However, there remains enough time to send out one final message. And the ultimate reveal. She was blonde the whole time. What is this data? You're actually alive? That's not quite right. This is just the data you've been modeled after. That person isn't you. But at the same time, it is you. This person is the same heart, spirit, and pattern of the soul. So, it turns out that you and I live in the same age after all. Fair enough. I dislike being the loser, and now that I know you exist on the outside, I'll track you down. If you're still asleep when I do, I'll pound away on you until you wake up. I'm pretty sure it will only take one of my infamously violent outbursts to bring you back to reality. And if I can manage it all, I want our reunion to be on a rooftop, somewhere with a beautiful view. Until then, please wait for me. I will come and find you, I promise. That promise was to both the boy that sleeps and the boy who begins to fade, that when she leaves this place, we will meet again. And it is because of that promise that I can finally allow myself to be at peace. Well, that was Fate Extra. Oh my gosh, Alice and Alice's caster servant were voiced by the same person? Who would have ever guessed? Ronnie 8, Berserker, Leo B. Haraway, Twice H. Peaceman, Shiki Ryogi, and there are some other names that we won't recognize. Because yeah, there's some New Game Plus characters, and there are some characters exclusive to the Ronnie route. Character modeling, character animation, Ai Yoshida, Sadanobu Inada, Hirokazu Tabata, background modeling, Kenta Sakai, Makoto Kano, Masaru Shimatani, Tetsuro Abe, visual effects, user interface design, Koki Shima, event planning, Daisuke Ike, Kunimitsu Tanaka, Kazuya Saito, Motoki Fujita, arena planning, Yasunari Sekine, Battle planning. Yoshikazu Suzuki. Scenario. Kinoko Nasu. Motoki Fujita. Kurimitsu Tanaka. Programming. Lead programming. Field programming. Taichiro Kuroiwa. Battle programming. Kazuya Azuma. User interface programming. Dynamics programming. Makoto Azuma. Visual effects programming. Isao Nakajima. Masashi Fujimoto. Kazuki Yamada. Sound utility programming. Masashi Fujimoto. Program support. Naoki Matsura. Different song. Sound, Shinji Ose. Sound effects, Takahiro Iguchi. Type Moon. Music, Kate, James Harris. Special thanks, Nobuyuki Kiyotake, Shimoshi, Shizuki Mori, Chihiro Aikura, Kiyomune Miwa. Oh, this is the backstory music. Global Business Coordinators, Natsuko Fukuda, Daniel Tyler Kurtz. Executive Producer, Akibo Shie. Project Lead, Michael Manzanares. Frank Bo DeWin. To Project Coordinator, Asuka Yamataka. Translator, Sama Washitasu. Localization Editors, Proofreaders, Marketing, Public Relations. Karen McOsker. Cynthia Ungsun, QA Lead. Quality Assurance, Chan SM. Leslie Burns, Joyce Agragas. Jeff Katzenell. Localization Programming, Hiding. Director, Kenichi Yanagihara. Designer, Hayashi Kazumi. Special thanks, Kinshiko, Ryu's Office Corporation, Tomio Kanazawa, Kenzie, and all Fate fans who support us with enthusiasm. Development, Type Moon, Image Epic, Image Epoch, and Hive. Production, Marvelous Entertainment Inc., Axis Games. Based on the original work, Fate Stay Night. I am the bone of my sword. I'm not sure I understand, but do you mean that you have an existence outside of this world? Then everything should work out fine. You are my master. You know what needs to be done, correct? And you do have my permission to visit me occasionally. Actually, come anytime you wish. I'd be happy to see you again. It makes me happy to know our relationship won't be ending soon. It sounds like it would entail an incredible amount of effort, though. I sympathize with him for having such a burden. Though it's someone else's problem, it's my responsibility. Oh yeah, this is us talking. Hakuno. I sympathize with him for having such a burden. Though it's someone else's problem, it's my responsibility. The dissolution of my current self has begun. Outside of the Holy Grail, Rin's voice begins to fade away. As what makes me, me, is compressed into the smallest unit of illicit data, I think of my slumbering self. When he wakes up, his memory will be a blank page, with no friends or family to help or guide him. I wonder how that strange new world will appear to him. Nothing about the past will have any meaning. What am I saying? If that's the only thing to be lost, then I'd be okay. Although I'll miss those I've met along the way, the world will still be here, and as long as the path before me remains, I will continue to walk it. There are no grades given for goals and wishes. No matter how small they may seem to others, as long as I keep moving forward, they will eventually come to fruition. As it is the desire for that wish to become reality that will keep you going until the end. I have no worries. There will always be those who strive to change the world, those I care about. I will be able to live with them and eventually move forward into the future with them. I can't believe how promising and hopeful the future sounds. I can't wait for it to arrive. Theme. You can save your progress as clear data. This data will carry certain items over into a new game. Be careful not to accidentally overwrite the state of saving. Save cleared game data? Yes. We gonna go up. It seems like this is where I looped around. That's my original Saber playthrough. Total time 36:02. We'll save right here. Game clear data. 36:16. Oh wow. That's actually shocking. It's only 14 minutes longer. Oh my gosh, that's 2023. So long ago now. Well, thank you all for being here for Fate Extra. I hope you all enjoyed this playthrough, and that I'm grateful that all of you were here to experience one of my favorite games with me. And I hope you return for our New Game Plus Caster playthrough, because I really like Caster, and also there's that whole second story route thing with Ronnie, with different characters and such, so there's still more content to be had. I will most likely not be talking to all the NPCs that time, just getting the important dialogues. But yeah, she has a whole different moveset, different way of fighting, all that. Hope you guys join me there, and then eventually, I believe after my caster playthrough, I might play a different game in the meantime, but at some point I will play Fate Extra CCC, the sequel. The CC sequel. Haha. I hope to see you all there for those playthroughs. Have wonderful winter wonderlands, and live Moss.